Welcome to the CELUM User Academy. My name is Isabel and I'm happy to welcome you as our moderator today. In the User Academy, CELUM experts explain the many functionalities of CELUM content and work in detail and answer your questions. The session will be recorded and we will send you the recording in the upcoming days. If you have any questions for our trainer, please write them to the go to webinar question panel in the right side of your screen. We will answer as many questions as possible at the end of the demo in our Q&A session. In the last two trainings, we have already learned how to approve assets in CELUM Work and how to upload them to content and how to add metadata to them. Now we obviously want to use our digital assets. We need to edit and distribute them to the relevant channels to boost our business. And that's where our trainer, Fran enters the stage. Thanks to his many years of experience in support and technical consultant, he knows the CELUM products inside out. Hello, Florian.
Hello.
Hi, I'm really looking forward to this session with you. Please introduce yourself briefly to our participants before you start with the live training.
Yeah, thanks, Isabel. My name is Fran. I'm with CELUM for about 6 years now, starting my career as a support engineer and tech consulting, so in product implementation, and switching last year to our technical sales department, where I can now support our customers or future customers with their solution design. And that's enough of me. I'll start sharing my screen and let's look into what's really interesting.
Wonderful.
As Isabel mentioned, you already know how to get content into your system. Today we're talking about how to get it out of your system where it belongs in an efficient way. First thing I want to show you is our image editor. I prepared an example here where you can see this kind of header image, and the situation is that I need a more square-shaped image. What I can use for this is our CELUM image editor, where I can do simple modifications like cuts to the image and also decide to apply a download format, for example, to get it as a TIFF. So I selected the area of interest and just downloaded it. We will see that now the image that I just got a part of the image. That's a great and fast way to do simple modifications for special use cases, but of course you maybe want also to automate this. Therefore, you can use the focal point extension developed by our partner Bricks, where you can now set a focal point or an area of interest on the image. And now I can just use a predefined format where this focal point is considered. For example, if I want to make a perfect square of this photo for a social media post, for example. You will see now I got the square image and my area of interest is still visible on this picture. You can also combine this with our exporter and public URLs. I also prepared something here, two images with already set focal points, in this case on this bike guy again. And when we check the external references, the public URLs, you will see that I got different cuts out of this image. One in landscape, one in a portrait, and again a square image. This also works perfectly fine or if the image is an original portrait. So again, we have our 3 cuts here. One as landscape, one as portrait, and one as square. Still having my content that I really want to see available on the image. These focal points have to be set manually on every image, but it is possible to set a default value in CELUM. So, for example, that the focal point is always set to the center of the image. It's also possible, if you have the information where the focal point should be already available, that you import this information. To show you, I just do a little export with our printing templates, where we see how this focal point is stored, just for understanding. So the focal point is given in percentage of the picture size, calculated from the upper left corner. I just manipulate this now to be 50-50, so to the center of the image. Save it, and with our importer, I can now just re-import this Excel file. And we will see in a second that the focal point changed from the right part to the center, as promised. So, as I said, if you have this focal point information already available from your designers, from any third-party systems, you're also able to import that information. When it comes to combinations with CMSs or to use cases where you want to use the images in a website, for example, we also have some cool possibilities here. For example, you can define an download format which is optimized for web. For example, also with lower resolution to improve loading times. What also comes in place here are our file name resolvers. As you should already know, you can decide for every download format if the downloaded file should be named as the asset name or with the asset ID. But you can also consider further information in the asset name, like information fields, cihub, for example. In this case, I haven't set any, so we also implemented a fallback here, that if the cihub field is empty, the file will be named setCELUM, so that the user knows that he has to do something before he can use the file format. I will do that now. So set some CO information. And we'll try to download again, and we'll see how the file name changed now. So now the file is named as cihub. You see, you can do quite cool things with a lot of logic in there. One example use case is the one with cihub we just saw. It would also be possible if there's a product ID somewhere in the metadata to use this for the download name. This might come quite handy when we talk about integrations with PIM systems, for example. When it comes to the use of the images, of course, in InDesign is also a big topic. What you can do here with the Indesign connector from our partner cihub is directly access the assets from CELUM in InDesign. Not only images, also maybe predefined InDesign templates. I have a little article here, and I'm just opening it now. And we see the prepared template. If you consider CELUM configuration, CELUM permissions, it's also possible to deny that this file is manipulated by most of the users. So if I try to upload a new version here, I'll receive the message that I have no permissions for that. Now let's go back to our asset to place it in this article. Again, here I can make use of different CELUM download formats, and I also can configure which ones are available in InDesign to only show the ones that make sense in this case. Here I take the original, just download it, place it where it belongs. Let's move it a little bit. Yeah, it looks good now. And in this folder, I'm allowed to create assets and update them. So I'll add this one as a new asset here. What I can now do too is directly upload a PDF version of this InDesign in different presets. Here, all presets shown that are generally available in InDesign, so the connector just makes use of them. So let's also upload this PDF. And if we switch back to CELUM, we'll see in a second that two new assets were uploaded here. Previous are also generated right now, the InDesign and also the article. What was also done in the background is that there was a relation created, so I can see with on one page in the InDesign which assets are used here, and if I switch to the asset, I can also see where this asset is used. Comes quite handy when you want to know where this asset lies around, but there are further cool things possible due to this relation. So if I upload a new version of this image, let's take this one. I can also check directly in InDesign if something with the assets in CELUM changed. Therefore, we have our linking panel here. So let's check. Oh, there is a change. I can now either manually select each or compare each version manually, or just with one click relink all files. So I'll exchange it here. Yeah, looks better. I take this one. Of course, I now also have to upload a new version of the existing document. So let's also do that again with the PDF, and we'll see in a second that also the version was updated in CELUM. So we will see it as soon as the previous are recreated again. This connector is not only available for the Adobe suite, it is also available for Microsoft Office, PowerPoint, for example. You can do pretty much the exact same things. So in CELUM, have your templates for PowerPoint presentation, for Word documents, whatever. You can directly load them with the connector and then also place images directly from CELUM and save your work with the connector back to CELUM without you having to leave the program you used to work in. So also here, we just use JPEG in this case, and we now could also store it back. The only thing that the connector in Office does not is create a relation in the background, as the Office tools don't have this kind of relation management as the InDesign or Adobe products do have. Yeah, that's it for today from my side. Let's take care of your questions.
Thank you, Florian, for the demo and for the very interesting tips we can use on a daily basis in working with assets. The cihub connector for PowerPoint comes in very handy. I will use it quite sure very often, and if I have problems, be prepared, Florian, I will call you.
Anytime.
So great. questions, question time. We received a couple of them. I'll start with the first one relating to public URLs. Question is, where can I find public URLs?
The public URLs can be found in the detail view of the asset in the point external references. Here are all listed.
Okay, and can I use the URLs somewhere else, or just for?
Of course, you can either manually use them. All these public URLs are also accessible by our APIs, so you can also use them in the connectors or some other automated ways.
Okay, cool. Second question is, where do I set the download formats?
The download formats can be configured by any administrator in the configuration management. Just be aware you have to have administrative right to be able to go there.
Mm-hmm. Question number 3 is, where do I find the CEO tags, also the SEO tags?
The tags can be set in the CELUM metadata. You can either see them in the sidebar view here in the metadata area, or in the detail view when you double click an asset and go to metadata. Here we have it.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's quite easy then. The file name resolver. Are there any additional costs for the file name resolver, and where can I get it from?
The file name resolver is part of our toolkit, which is available by default for all our SaaS or CELUM hosted customers. So there's no additional license cost. It just has to be configured.
Oh, wonderful. That's good news. cihub connector. I was quite sure that there were a couple of questions coming up concerning the connector. When saving as a PDF, can I specify where the file is saved as whether the file is saved as a web or a print PDF?
Yeah, as shown, you can define that. Let's see it here. You can define as soon as you check this with PDF option, in which resolution or which quality the PDF should be generated. If you need additional presets here, you can just configure them in the Indesign. The connector will read this list and make it available.
Okay, that's great. So this means, as you mentioned before, you have to have administrative rights to do this. So companies should know prior what formats they want to use or what they will need
for
in setting up.
InDesign. I think that every user can define his own formats.
Okay, oh, even better. So we don't have to bother the admin every day.
Exactly.
Which means you. Where can I get the cihub plugin for PowerPoint from?
This is available in the Office extension store. Be aware that you also need a cihub account to be able to use it. For an exact installation instructions, just check our knowledge base. We have a very detailed step-by-step guide there.
Great. And the last question, as far as I can see, is when cutting an image, what happens with the original file? Will it stay as it is, or will it change?
The original file in CELUM is never touched, so even if I do a cut of the image from the left part, it's just the download result that is manipulated. The original file stays as it is, so if I open it the next time, I again have the whole image.
Oh, great. So all the cut images, they are also not saved as such.
Exactly.
It is only the original file that stays where it is, and I
Yes.
don't have various just sizes of the same image in my content.
Exactly. So you can also reduce the space needed on CELUM, and that means also reduce the costs of operation.
That's great. Okay. Well, if we don't have any further questions, anybody, now it's the chance to ask Florian directly if you need any information. Okay. Then our time is over. It leaves me to say thank you very much for attending today's webinar. I would also like to hint you to our next CELUM exclusive insights sessions, which will take place on the 30th of June with the topic on better ROI with content recycling. So it's also quite an interesting talk where our CMO Florian will talk to Pia Eck, a digital marketing expert, and give you some insights on content recycling. That's an interesting topic. So thank you, Florian, once again for giving
Welcome.
us the insight in using content in CELUM. And I wish you all a very nice day. Enjoy the sun if possible, and look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.